Evening. Thank you very much for joining me.
Good evening. Thank you too.
So, Dr. Herrera, when we are talking about ideology and when it's sinking in to these youngsters, to these young people who are most of them, and we know that the new profile of a terrorist, of a Daesh terrorist, is basically a young man who's lived all his life, maybe, or most of his life, in a more modern society. He lived in the West, and he's coming back to his, let's call it origins, and he's fighting to what? He's fighting for his religion, or he's fighting for his rights, or he's fighting for his honor that was lost in the Western world?
I think that this point is the main point, and you are correct. The ideology of the Islamic State, you call it Daesh, but it's pejorative. They call themselves the Islamic State, not Daesh. And their aim is to have a domination of Islam on all the world. That's basically their aim. And you have the right to lead an offensive jihad in order to have this domination only when you have a caliphate. And that's the main point of the Dawla Islamiyah, since Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is the caliph. And concerning France, and the people here are shocked. I'm now in the south of France giving 4 conferences to Christian intellectuals, and I see they do not understand, they do not have the keys. The Islamic State publishes in French a review. They call it Dar el-Islam. This means the abode of Islam, or the heart of Islam. Since France has been conquered by Islam at the 8th century, it is forever a land of Islam. So it has to be freed from the French domination. That's the main point. The second point is, since François Hollande has decided to strike Islamic State targets in Syria, is attacking Islam, and thus it is an individual duty, fard ayn in Arabic, for each Muslim to fight all the French people. And this is the Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State opinion, is that since the French people are living in a democracy and they have elected François Hollande, for this reason they are also part of these attacks. They are ashamed, and so we have to fight them and to kill them. That's the opinion of the Islamic State.
Dr. Herrera, explain to me why these youngsters, why these young Muslim youngsters are not attracted to the Western world, are not attracted to the liberal world, to democracy, and they are going back to dictatorship, to religion, to find themselves.
They learn at school. In the Islamic State, in all the Islamic countries, except Egypt now, and also in the Palestinian, under the Palestinian Authority, that the Occident and its values are against Islam, because they teach materialism, and they teach democracy, and they teach liberalism, and all these points are against Islam. So they spoke about Allahcracy, not democracy or liberalism. For them, this is an insult to Islam, and they have to go back to the spirituality of Islam. And the youngsters, when they learn this, they see the Occidental culture as a culture that's going down. That is, you see the fertility in Europe is 1.2 to 1.5 by women, and you have 2.1 in order to have a population stagnating.
Yes.
So they see a culture of pleasure, of individualism, and they think it's not good. And they learn at school that the aim of Allah is to have the domination of Islam. So they are part of the realization of the project of Allah.
Yes,
better than having Coca-Cola and the hamburger of McDonald's.
Yes. Dr. Herrera, thank you very much for this.